G'day, ZiggyD here with some Diablo 3 news. Blizzard has recently announced that they have a working prototype of Diablo 3 running on consoles. However, they haven't announced any official plans to release the game to the console market, only that they are exploring the possibility. In an interview with Polygon, Jay Wilson said that the whole team is currently working on the next big Diablo 3 thing, which he stated would be showing up next year at some point. From previous Jay Wilson tweetings on Twitter, we can only assume that this is the long-awaited PvP patch. Until that is released, it seems like this idea of Diablo 3 on consoles is only one where the possibilities are currently being explored. I'll link to the full Polygon article about console testing for Diablo 3 in the description below, but there's really not too much more information in it than that. So although that's it for the official news side of things on this, I want to explore this idea of a console port a bit more. I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments below as well. Firstly, I actually think bringing Diablo 3 to consoles is a great idea. It's one of the few types of games in its genre that I think could pull it off well, and it's a move that has the potential to bring a lot of new players to the game. I'd like to assume that console players will be playing alongside the PC players, but I suppose the reality of this will depend on how much they have to modify the core of the game. It feels a bit like Diablo 3 has been designed from the very beginning with the possibility of a console port in mind, and I don't mean this in a bad way really. The control scheme could easily port over to a hand controller. You have 4 hotbar skills which could easily be mapped to the front buttons, and a right click, left click that it could easily be mapped to bumpers on an Xbox controller, or R1, R2 buttons on a PS3 controller. Left analog could control your movement, and right analog could control facing without moving for directional attacks and ranged attacks with the Demon Hunter and such. Things that'll probably need modifying for consoles, however, would be some targeted abilities like Mark of Death and area of effect cast abilities like Acid Rain. I think these would be pretty awkward to use the current system of aiming with the mouse on a controller, so I'd be interested to see how they work around that. Picking up items would also need to be modified, and the menu system would probably need some changes as well. It'll be interesting to see how they tackle those problems. Overall, however, Diablo 3 would be a lot easier to adapt over than other action RPGs like Diablo 2 or Path of Exile. The interfaces on these games are just way more complicated and really wouldn't translate over very well. Another consideration and potential challenge Blizzard would face would be the always online single player and the real money auction house on consoles. I know Microsoft have a history of being pretty difficult when it comes to in-game microtransactions, and the paid Xbox Live subscription for most players could get in the way of actually playing the game. I think the best way to handle this would be to have Blizzard work out a deal where Diablo 3 could be played online with only an Xbox Live Silver account, so the free account, since it would be using Blizzard servers anyway. I'm not sure how the real money auction house would go, especially since player-to-player microtransactions are a pretty grey area in this sort of console market. I'm not sure if things would be any easier on the PS3 either. So the final point I wanted to cover is that if there would be any negative effect for us PC users in having a game ported to consoles, because this is something that often comes up whenever we talk about consoleization or games being ported to consoles, often there's quite a large outcry from PC players over that. I guess you could argue that developing a console port would be taking up development time from other features, but I think that even this is a bit of a stretch, as larger development studios like Blizzard tend to have designated teams for working on specific things, so the PvP patch people wouldn't necessarily be taken away to work on a console. They'd probably be 2 separate groups of people. So if that's the case, I don't really see exploring this console port possibility would really hinder PC updates very much. I can't personally think of any other negatives, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and I'm also keen to hear how likely you think it will be that we'll see Diablo 3 on consoles next year, or whether it's just something that won't end up happening. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.